The devil's on the loose and he's dancing with the mummy.
Doc Mark and Chorus, the little mummy, here to bring you another episode of Macabre Cast, where we'll be dropping R's where they belong and adding them where they don't. Welcome back. Thank you, everybody, for joining us each Monday for a little bit of Macabre Casting with Chorus and I.
Hi, Doc. Did you enjoy 4th of July? I know I did. Sipping lightly on my twisted Tana Leaves tea.
Interesting. Tana Leaves twisted tea. Never tried that, but that's perfect for you. 4th of July was great. I hope everyone else out there had a great one as well. Well, let's keep our dignity this week and try once again with another quote from our president.
If we finally beat Medicare, with the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with, if...
Karis, I don't think this presidential quote thing is working, so we need to drop that part of the format. And, probably for the better. But you know what? It doesn't matter because it's time for horror news.
Life's river showers, she said, but then only the strong shall survive. She said,
Constantine 2 is officially in the works. And yes, Keanu Reeves will be reprising his role as John Constantine, Frozen Drink Boy. Also, Return of the Living Dead 3, the lost final cut, has surfaced, and it contains never-before-seen footage. Now, I know that this was the last in the Return of the Living Dead films, but it's actually... I haven't seen it in quite a while. I saw this in my early 20s, and I actually liked it a lot. It took a whole new direction because I was not a big fan of Return of the Living Dead 2. I just thought that was a retread of the original. This takes a whole new spin. A guy and his girl who dies, and when she is reanimated, he gets to keep going out with her. It's different take on it, but the lost final cut has been found. And that's it for horror news.
she said,
And Brownie agrees. Brownie, the corpse-sniffing dog. So this week I'm pulling off the shelves 1985's Return of the Living Dead, directed by Dan O'Bannon.
Let me ask you a question, kid. Did you see that movie, Night of the Living Dead?
Yeah. That's the one where the corpses start eating the people, right? Sure. What about it?
Did you know that movie was based on a true case?
This is basically the story of two employees at a medical supply warehouse who accidentally release a deadly gas into the air, causing the dead in a nearby cemetery and morgue to reanimate. Freddie and Frank, played by Tom Matthews and James Karen, are the 80s answer to Abbott and Costello in this superb horror comedy. A lot of people say, Doc, why does this movie work? This movie works the way Scream worked. And this was years before Scream, where they took the concept that everyone is familiar with the movie Night of the Living Dead. In fact, these two employees in the beginning start talking about this movie. And it's Frank who says, well, that's based on a true story. And he goes into what is the actual true story of Night of the Living Dead. And this, I think that this is why this movie works, because now we live in the world where we understand that The Walking Dead and what that's about. We're familiar with Night of the Living Dead. And so now we have it entering into what then was modern times in the real world. If you have not seen this, do yourself a favor, check it out. Return of the Living Dead 2 is a retread of this film. Not a big fan of it. And as I mentioned earlier, Return of the Living Dead 3, not for everybody, but I personally enjoyed Night of the Living Dead Part 3. But check out Return of the Living Dead from 1985, starring Tom Matthews as Freddy, James Karen as Frank, and watch out for Liana Quigley looking very different in this movie as she plays the street punk Trash. And like most of her movies, she's nude.
Oh, Lordy frickin' dog! We're just normal men.
What do you mean, normal men?
We're just innocent men.
Are you enamored with the Drac Pack? Do you wish you could be one of the cool kids? Do you wish you could be like Grim Kim, Scary Larry, Horror Chat Matt, Once in a Blue Moon, Whitney or Brittany? Well, you can. You can join the family. Send your voice message to me, Dark Mark. Join us.
Hi, Dark Mark. Hi, little Karis.
Hi, Graham.
Hi, Grim. Try not to drop any F-bombs.
Happy Independence Day to you. How are you? Sorry I missed last week, but my son was here visiting, and he's a horror movie person like me, so we had a lovely, lovely visit. We had watched the Omen prequel. We didn't finish it, but we did enjoy what we had seen. There's another movie I was watching with him. It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't really... Oh, you know what it is? Split. Tina, I finally watched Glass. And so now Split, Unbreakable, Glass, because I really wanted to comment on the whole trilogy. I agree with what I think you and I think what Mark said was the third, yeah, it was okay. It wasn't as good as the first two. They were trying to tie the story in, and sometimes they like overreach trying to do that. And it's like, I would have liked more of the part about him and in his, what was going on victimology wise. But yeah, I'm really glad. And I'm kind of like, why have I not seen this? I don't know. It's one of those slips through your fingers sometimes. Dark Mark just posted an incredibly funny meme about the recent Hogtua girl making the rounds with her viral sensation. And anyway, in light of tomorrow, I have been waiting on this Independence Day a very, very long time. So it got me thinking, and I had compiled a little list of what I would consider Independence Day movies. They make it at the end, final girl, nice twist type of thing movies. And here's just a few. There's so many. But here's 10 that like really were at the top of my brain when I started thinking about it. In no particular order. Here we go. Number one, let's kick it old school, early 1990s, Jawbreaker. High school, dark comedy. It is so good. I think Rose McGowan's in that one. That's a nice dark comedy. I'm sure I enjoyed that immensely. I haven't watched it in a long time. I don't know that I need to. Again, the second one as well, maybe in this category, The Craft. I love that movie. Who doesn't? But maybe I'm saying that to the wrong audience, because people who listen to Macabre Theater, I think, do enjoy that movie on some level. I was watching this clip about Fairuza Balk recently, and I mean, she is Wiccan, and she was like really into it, and it brought this level of more like reverence for the religion and philosophy on the set. It was just really interesting to look at, and like she's like the real deal, and that's what the other cast members were saying. Present day, they were saying looking back, and it was nice. Actually, Kathy Najimy did that as well for Hocus Pocus, and I had seen a little clip of her at one point, and she was saying, she wanted to keep a certain amount of reverence as far as witches or Wiccans as a religion, because like the movie was, a bit stereotypical Disney fare. Anyway, that's a little segue. I digress. My third would be for movies, Final Girl / Independence Day, turning it around. Final Girl, Abigail Breslin, 2015. Wes Bentley is in it too. I found this movie so thoroughly enjoyable and unique, and I definitely recommend that one a lot. As well as number 4, Ready or Not, 2019. She is a new bride. She goes to visit the, new family, very affluent, and let's just say there's a little initiation process she has to go through. It was so fun. Number 5, I adore my A24 movies, including this one, which is one of the more recent ones I had seen, Bodies, 2024. I'm just going to leave it there. And it fits right in with the A24 family of movies, which are definitely indie in nature, and they're just so vast and enjoyable, each one in their own way. And this one had a lot of critique on pop culture and living in America, and it was so interesting. So I recommend all these movies, but definitely that one too. Let's throw in a little Dolores Claiborne with Kathy Bates as my Stephen King, who I love, choice. And that is just such a classic. As well as Jodie Foster in one of my top movies of all times, Little Girl Down the Lane, with that icky Martin Sheen. Oh, it's so good. Number 8. Lavender with Jennifer Garner, and she is a mother hell-bent on vengeance, and it is a fantastic, we'll call this a crime / thriller, psychological thriller. Very, very good. I think she's an excellent actress in everything she does, really. Very versatile. Let's double group this one because they're both very old and classics, and there's just something about they need to be paired up. Sleeping with the Enemy with Julia Roberts. We all have little snippets of that movie stuck in our head, including the ring not really getting flushed down the toilet. Awesome. J-Lo in Enough, I found really, really enjoyable, and I think maybe she just needs to cut her hair in a little pixie cut and leave it at that. Honestly, because I think that was the best acting I've maybe seen her do. J-Lo, I think you need to focus on acting. This is just an aside to her personally, if she listens to Macabre Theater, because I think that's maybe where her future shimmering sequin lies, is in the acting realm. I'm just throwing that out there, J-Lo. Okay, let's wrap up this list. Let's see. Where's my third post-it note? Here it is. Hush, 2016, Netflix. Deaf writer in the woods in peril, who is outside the door. Really, really good and interesting. Here's an older one. This one is one of these that's just stuck in my head. I think this is the last one I'm throwing your way. Let me see. Did I hit them all? I did. We'll call this number 11. 2009 Splice with Adrian Brody, and they're doing naughty things in the lab, and what they come up with in the end result is, the ending is unforgettable. I just love that movie so much. So anyway, I just wanted to throw those in there. Please, comments on any of these or others you may want to add to the list. This is a fun one. And maybe I give you a couple suggestions that you haven't seen already. Okay, happy Independence Day, everybody. Have a great one. By the way, the corpse-sniffing brownie is just in seventh heaven. There's so much roadkill, seagull drops around here, like black eels, fish in the middle of the boulevard. She's in heaven, and she thanks you for remembering her, Dark Mark, each week. Okay, bye for now.
Great list, Grim. I have seen all of these, with the exceptions of Final Girl, Ready or Not, Splice, Bodies, Lavender, and Enough. But I've seen all the others. I will have to, if I get a chance, check some of these other one's out. Thanks so much for another awesome call-in, Grim Kim.
Congratulations. You went potty mouth free.
Is this something you could share with the rest of us, Amazing Larry?
Greetings, Dark Mark and Karis the Little Mummy. Scary Larry here with another week of disappointment. Now, scrolling through Shudder, I was suckered into watching The Tunnel by virtue of seeing that they had just re-released it for its 10th anniversary. I find this interesting since I hadn't heard of it, but surely such fanfare of a 10th anniversary horror movie would be cause for a decent movie. Yeah, no. In the realm of the played-out found footage genre, this low-budget Australian movie tried presenting itself like Wreck and its American remake, which I personally loved, Quarantine, but with a twist. This one has survivors. This is an attempt of a documentary of a news crew investigating the mysterious disappearance of the homeless population in an old abandoned railroad tunnel system. Now, it's a convoluted story, hard to follow, but Australia, like the rest of the countries in this fictional story, are suffering a major water shortage, talking historic drought conditions. Now, the government finds a water source deep inside the abandoned tunnels, which is now super secret, and this discovery leads to a rash of the disappearance of the homeless that made the tunnels their home. What they fail to explain is why the government has stopped utilizing the found water, or how they can account for the homeless disappearing, how they have an accounting of people showing up missing if they're homeless. An intrepid reporter takes a camera crew down into the tunnel system to get to the truth. And in the process of finding the water, they also find a menacing creature who is stealing the eyes of its victim for some odd, unexplainable reason. And we are to believe that the government, which is in desperate need of water for its people, choose to act like nothing's happening instead of setting its police and military to secure the found water source and eradicate whatever is killing the homeless. This movie drags on rather boringly for the first 60 of its 91-minute runtime, before the creature or mutant, whatever it is, finally makes its first appearance, snatching one of the cameramen and mortally wounding another before the remaining two can escape this labyrinth of death. Now, they seem to have watched the Descent movies one too many times and stole that creature, and then remembered the 80s classic Chud on the homeless living underground to give us this clunker. Now, if you have 90 minutes to spare, I recommend painting a wall and watching it dry versus watching this movie. 2 out of 5 stars.
Sounds like a sophisticated version of Chud.
It does, doesn't it, Karis? It's like Ridley Scott presents Chud, although obviously this was no Ridley Scott. Great review, Scary. Thank you, as always.
Hey, Doc Mark and Karis, Hard Chat Matt, calling in on my walk in the graveyard. Doesn't get more macabre than that. So I finally got to check out In a Violent Nature, and I have to say overall I really enjoyed it. It had very unique camera angles that took a little bit of getting used to at the beginning, but after I got what they were doing, it didn't bother me. The acting in the Friends group isn't the best, but they're not really the main characters, as you follow the killer's point of view basically the entire movie, which is also pretty unique as you don't normally see that. The movie also featured some great over-the-top practical effect kills and extremely gory. The ending was a little bit flat for me, but overall I felt that it worked and did what it needed to do. I hope they will eventually turn this into a franchise, as I'm always looking for a good replacement for Friday the 13th, since we don't seem to be getting any of those anytime soon. If you're a fan of The Burning or Friday the 13th Part 6 Jason Lives, I think you will also enjoy this movie. As always, Dark Mark, keep up the great work of bringing the macabre to all your legions of monster kids.
Always pleasant to hear from Horror Chat every week. And he finds a way every week to mention Friday the 13th in some way, shape, or form, I noticed. I also did see In a Violent Nature a little while back. I don't remember if I ever mentioned that, and enjoyed it a lot. And I also saw Godzilla -1. I haven't even mentioned how great that was. But thanks again, Horror Chat, for another wonderful call. Until next time, stay on the road, keep clear of the moors, and beware the moon. But most of all, be good to yourself. This is Dark Mark, signing off. See you soon.
This is a Macabre Theater production.